We play for real tonight in the Atlantic Coast Conference as the Terrapins come a-calling to Chestnut Hill near Boston.
Tonight, two ACC conference rivals heat up the hardwood. 23rd ranked Maryland travels to Beantown to take on an intense Boston College team. Maryland's off to their best start in almost 20 years, and the straw that stirs the Terrapins is senior guard DJ Strawberry. No one will ever doubt the intensity of the Eagles. A threat on both sides of the boards, Jared Dudley will keep BC soaring to new heights this season. High-flying, rim-rocking ACC action. Maryland at Boston College. Next on ACC Sunday Night Hoops.
The Maryland Terrapins make their way onto the floor here at the Conti Forum, and they won't stop running as tonight they meet the Eagles, who have begun to soar. Boston College in the Atlantic Coast Conference as ACC Sunday Night Hoops makes its way to Beantown. Number 23 Maryland against Boston College. We're live. Hello, everyone. I am Tim Brando. What a remarkable transition it was for Boston College last year in its first season in the ACC. All they did was win 28 games and make it to the Sweet 16. For Maryland, this is a team that has a refreshing new start, and it begins in the backcourt, G-Man. Mike Jaminski by my side. Eric Hayes means everything to Gary Williams at the point.
Well, a freshman shall lead them, and Eric Hayes has been very steady. He's a coach's son, and he has done a terrific job of running this ball club early. You look at him, almost 5 assists per game, but a 2.0 assist-to-turnover ratio. He's making good decisions. The guy who benefits from that, DJ Strawberry, playing off the ball, averaging 15 points a game, leading this team, and he does so many things well on the floor. He's shown the ability over his career that he is a good perimeter jump shooter. He can knock down threes, and he can also defend and get out in the open floor and create opportunities not only for himself, but his team. You know that he wants to go out and have a strong senior year.
He will have no doubt a lot of responsibility defensively tonight, Mike, on Jared Dudley, arguably the best all-purpose player that the Atlantic Coast Conference has to offer. Look at the numbers throughout his career.
And it speaks to his versatility. He's leading as a returning senior, first in points, first in rebounds, second in assists. He has got an extraordinarily high basketball IQ. With his size, with a smaller cover, he can get into the lane and score. He's got quick hands on defense. He can go all the way the length of the floor and score for you there. He can knock down perimeter jump shots. He can hit the three when necessary. And, Timmy, you watch him play, and he can do just about anything he wants to out on the basketball floor for Al Skinner.
It really should be a battle of tempo control tonight, too, shouldn't it?
Well, you look at it, Maryland wants to get up and down. BC like to calm it down just a little bit.
They do have one thing in common, and that is rejection row. And coming up, Jen Hildreth will have a look at the ACC block party that includes Sean Williams of Boston College and Evgeny Bekwe of Maryland. You're watching ACC Sunday Night Hoops. ACC Sunday Night Hoops rolls on. We're at Conti Forum here in Chestnut Hill, and the third member of our broadcast team is Jen Hildreth, and she's standing by. Jen?
Well, Timmy, you've got a great shot blocker sitting next to you tonight, but you know what? There's also a pair of guys on the floor who are having a bit of a block party of their own this season. For the Terps, 6'9" senior Evgeny Bekwe is coming off a career performance against Fordham in the paint. And down at the other end of the court, a guy who's putting up ridiculous numbers inside for BC, 6'10" junior Sean Williams. Now, Sean told me yesterday his biggest asset in blocking shots is timing, and he's averaging an unbelievable 6 blocks a game, including a school record 12 blocks against Providence a few weeks ago. For the Terps, Bekwe blocked a career-high 7 shots against Fordham. He's averaging 3 blocks a game this season and has led the Terps in blocks 3 of the 4 years he's been in College Park. So which of these big men will block their opponent from getting a win in their ACC opener tonight? We'll find out in just a moment when we tip off on Sunday Night Hoops.
ACC Sunday Night Hoops is brought to you by Best Buy, helping you wrap up the wow this holiday season. Visit bestbuy.com for ideas and information. By Dodge, you can take life as it comes, or you can grab life by the horns. Dodge. And by Subway, eat fresh. Conti Forum, the site, Chestnut Hill, Massachusetts, just outside Boston, which, by the way, this is a homecoming of sorts for Gary Williams. He coached here, of course, with Tom Davis as an assistant, later as a head coach before going to Ohio State, and now at his alma mater, where he won a national title in 2002. His lineup looks this way. The aforementioned guards, Hayes, obviously such a catalyst for this team, and Mike Jones. Abekwe, the shot blocker, Gist and Strawberry, the lockdown defender. Al Skinner, who had a marvelous pro career as a player, you might recall, before becoming an assistant coach at Rhode Island, was a head coach there before coming to Boston College. Dudley, Oates, Williams, Tyrese, Rice, Sean Marshall in the backcourt for Boston College. Our officials, Ted Valentine, John Cowell, and Mike Eaves. The opening tap, run down by the Terrapins.
I think one of the key things to look to early, a great matchup, Strawberry against Jarrett Dudley.
Strawberry off the front iron, rebound to Sean Williams.
Right, and I think anytime that Strawberry will settle for a jump shot against Dudley, it's going to work in Dudley's favor. I'd like to try to see him challenge off the dribble a little bit more.
On the overplay, Strawberry picks up the foul, trying to deny Jared Dudley. Strawberry, accustomed to guarding just about anyone, having been the point a year ago, but has always been outstanding against taller players on the wing, which is what Jared Dudley is. Oates, who does have a perimeter shot, we got a foul off the ball. I believe they may have gotten Strawberry again. That's huge. 2 quick fouls, and Gary Williams is letting him hear about it. Let's get the game plan from G-Man.
Well, you look at it, Maryland wants to get out and run against Boston College, even on the road, get up and down the floor. And for BC, Al Skinner knows that this is not his best rebounding team. He just wants to match Maryland on the boards.
And some of that game plan changed as he has to get Davis Vasquez on the floor. That's a bit of a mismatch for Dudley. He's going to try to post him up. Oates, rebound to Gist.
Now, Oates does shoot a lot of threes for a big man, but he's been in a slump this year, only 4 of 21 now, and sometimes, like that time, he takes that shot too early in the shot clock, Tim. He's got to work and get a better shot later.
Major storyline already in the first minute of play. Strawberry out of the game with 2 quick fouls as Gist, with a little hang time, gets the first deuce. Marshall on the run out.
Well, so much for BC and tempo right now, and that was after a made basket. Gary Williams cannot be very happy with that. You've got to get in transition. You can't go into your home run trot.
Maryland, a very disappointing defensive team a year ago. They averaged giving up 73.5 points, worst in the league by far. They've really improved in that area so far, but this is a true test in conference play. Those stats can sometimes be misleading during the holidays. A foul underneath as Gist, again, very strong to the basket, is fouled.
Well, and that's exactly what you want to do against a shot blocker. We talked about Sean Williams and what he does inside, but Gist going right at his body, drawing the foul. And try. You can't shoot any fadeaways. It's not for the meek of heart inside against Williams.
Sean Williams with the first foul of the game committed by Boston College. There's the disappointed Strawberry. Michael Adams by his side, the assistant coach who played collegiately here at Boston College from 1981 through 85 and spent much of that time, obviously, with Gary Williams. Now on the Williams staff. Tyrese Rice in traffic, gets out of there.
Well, they want to test Rice. It's his first year as a full-time point guard with the graduation of Lewis Hinnant last year, and they want to throw some full-court pressure at him, see if he can handle that. Look for Dudley to help him bring the ball off the floor.
Rice will stop and go baseline, and he's rejected again. Dudley with the follow.
Well, we talked about it with BC. You get a block shot, you got to come up with the basketball. And that time Maryland stayed with the play and BC gets the score inside with Dudley.
That ball was deflected by Sean Williams. Out of bounds to Maryland. Underneath their own hoop. Hayes will trigger it in. Eric Hayes, freshman, Dumfries, Virginia, about 30 miles outside of the DC area. Farmland, sort of a mid-American lifestyle. His dad, his high school coach, is retired so he could follow his son's career. Another stop and go, this one by Marshall. Dudley again to clean it up.
We talked about matching Maryland on the boards, and right now, Jared Dudley keeping them in this game. 2 second-chance opportunities in 2 possessions.
Jones. Vasquez, who just loves the game. Young man out of Caracas, Venezuela. Hayes from downtown. He's got an outstanding shot. He's been compared to Steve Blake in many ways, and Gary Williams was quick to point out to us today, compare him to Blake as a freshman who had a steady improvement throughout his career. Hayes probably comes in with a better perimeter jumper than Blake did.
And that's a lot to hang on a kid. I mean, all Blake did was help his team win a national championship a few years ago. But, I mean, Hayes has really given them a lot handling the ball and as an open jump shooter.
Dudley, with that spin move, took an extra step. And a caution coming from veteran official Mike Eads. A little woofing going on between he and Vasquez. Both have tremendous intensity.
Well, and there's no question that Dudley is the emotional leader of this team, and the mantle that he had to assume when Craig Smith and Lewis Hennig graduated, and he's done so admirably. But you talk to Maryland, they say Vasquez is very much a leader, especially of the practice unit, that second unit.
Looking for a Vasquez. Vasquez, little show-me move. Jones was not ready for that pass, and of course Vasquez was up in the air, so it was ill-timed and leads to a turnover.
And I think with Vasquez that Gary Williams will have to live with certain things, and that type of play is an example of that. You look at it, and Hayes probably wouldn't have made that play, but they're 2 different types of personalities.
John Marshall, always active. Doesn't get it to fall. Gist again, very active early on, James Gist for the Terrapins underneath. He's taken a lot of the pressure off of that play this year with his activity in the low block. Maryland out to a 9-1 start, and suddenly that loss to Notre Dame in the BB&T doesn't look as bad after they beat Alabama the other night, a top 5 ranked team.
Very important year for Mike Bray at Notre Dame. Started off quickly.
Williams. That's a block. Score the basket. The foul goes against him the other way.
And it looked like Mike Eads looked like he was going to call this a charge, but not squaring up and taking it on the chest. Now, BC almost put their big man in trouble. You give him the ball too early like that, Timmy, and it invites an offensive foul, but Sean Williams made a nice play.
Timeout, 15:52 remaining. And a 1-point lead for the Eagles. Our score, Boston College. We mentioned Gary Williams coached here at BC from 82 to 86, twice taking them to the NCAA tournament and won NIT. His 82-83 squad with co-captain Michael Adams went 25-7, and yes, even then, he spent a lot of downtime talking to officials. Gary Williams, that was really the heyday of the Big East in the 80s when Carnes, Second, St. John's, Patino, at Providence, and so on.
I went up to Michael Adams. I said, give me your quintessential Gary Williams story. He said, I was in practice one day. I was running a 3-on-2 break. I threw it off the backboard to myself, and he kicked me out of practice.
I mean, those were the days that you name every coach in every institution. Rolly Massimino, obviously, at Villanova. John Thompson, the legendary Georgetown coach. It was an amazing period. And really, even Mike Krzyzewski has told us from time to time, the golden era of college basketball, really the decade of the 80s.
Well, I was fortunate enough to be up at the Hall of Fame induction this year, and Dave Gavitt was put in. And I don't know if there's a better ambassador to the sport of basketball than Dave Gavitt, and almost solely responsible for the Big East League being formed back in the late 70s.
Yep. Dudley. That's what makes this transition, as you see Rice with the follow. This transition that has been made by Boston College, even this crowd in this building, resonating with a college atmosphere that is equal to the reputation that the Atlantic Coast Conference has had for many, many years in basketball.
And right now, BC is owning Maryland on their offensive glass. Terrapins doing a poor job blocking out inside, several second-chance opportunities.
Vasquez. I think Sean Williams had something to do with that missed shot.
You always where he is. And whether he blocks a shot or alters a shot, his presence is there.
Off the wing, Marshall.
That's a key shot, Timmy. He's a guy that if he gets off to a quick start, he is capable of putting up numbers in bunches.
Averaging over 13 a game, Sean Marshall. Senior from California, made that trek from the West Coast to Boston College, along with Smith and Dudley. Smith, of course, now in the NBA. Jones way downtown. Michael Jones can become scintillating from deep.
And that's one way to break up a zone that Boston College has played a lot of in the first 5.5 minutes here, but that shot almost unguardable by Jones.
Dudley again helping with that Maryland pressure, bring the ball up the floor, and then they get it to Rice. Who pumps? Tyrese Rice, 16-10 Eagles.
Well, it's not a big three-point shooting team, but Tyrese Rice has got the ability to knock down that shot. And that was a little early in the clock, but he was trying to respond to Mike Jones on the other end, and Gary Williams not happy about it. He's the one guy in the perimeter along with Marshall you got to find.
So a quick shock treatment timeout taken by Gary Williams. On November 29th, Tyler Hansbrough and the North Carolina Heels knocked off the nation's top-ranked team, the Buckeyes. Next Saturday at 2, 11 Pacific on a special edition of ACC Hoops, we'll see the Tar Heels host UNC Asheville. It'll be the first chance for many of you ACC Hoops viewers to see exciting freshman Brandon Wright go along with Wayne Ellington. And the outstanding play of Taiwan Lawson has also been on display throughout much of this year. That trifecta is outstanding, and you'll see them next Saturday on ACC Hoops.
Their second team may be a top 25 team, Tim.
Agreed.
They come at you in waves, and that was a very impressive win against Ohio State, although I would have liked to have seen Greg Oden in that matchup.
Oden is playing now, and that was as athletic a group of players you see on two teams on the floor at any one time. Vasquez denied by guess who?
Why, he just cleans up a lot of mistakes for BC. Now, you don't want to become a bad perimeter offensive team knowing that he's sitting behind you, but he really helps.
12 against Providence and a losing cause. Rice again. Rice, baby.
7 for 11 from the game. We talked about Maryland's improved defense, but right now BC seeing a big basket.
Largest lead, 7 minutes deep, all the way up to 9 for Boston College. Osby just into the game, the transfer. What a performer he's been for Gary Williams early this season. Bombali Osby, Richmond, Virginia, came by way of New Mexico and Paris Junior College.
And I think he is perfectly suited for this flex offense, and he is fearless inside. He loves to play in the paint. A lot of big guys don't like that these days, Tim.
And he brings that girth in the middle, Mike, that they've really been missing since the days of Wilcox and Baxter. Got a tremendously strong upper body. Oates off the back iron. Gist reels it in for Maryland.
And that's a better shot from John Oates because he got it off penetration and had his feet. That was a little later in the shot clock.
Jones running the curl against Marshall, gives it up, and Hayes is fouled by Rice on the reach in. Well, Jen Hildreth talked about the block party as we got underway. Sean Williams with one of many, a rejection in his career, and this year. We'll be back.
Boston College leading Maryland by 7 here from Chestnut Hill, Massachusetts in the first half. And the man running the show for the Eagles and also knocking down some big shots, sophomore Tyrese Rice. He said the biggest difference for him this year, last year he could just come off the bench and score when he was in the game. Now he has to think team first, but you know what? Part of his game is knocking down those perimeter shots. And guys, he sure has done that early in this one.
Yes, he has. State of Virginia Co-Player of the Year a couple of seasons ago. L.C. Bird High School. And I get the feeling that he's slowly, Mike, beginning to get it. Beginning to get what the flex is all about and what makes Al Skinner happy. that will give him more playing time as the season winds on.
Well, there's nobody behind it. It was Lewis in it, and he'd come in last year and feel like he had to make something happen immediately, and there was that sense of urgency that hurt him. Now he knows he's going to be out on the floor for 35 minutes, Tim, and he's calmer about it. He knows he's going to play, and so he doesn't have to force anything.
He's hit a couple of threes, plus a 2, has 8 points total of the 19 for Boston College. Youngster Spears has come into the game for BC, replacing John Oates, number 34. Shamari Spears out of Salisbury, North Carolina. In traffic, Dudley's going to pick up that foul. Bekwe really getting down the floor. Williams and Dudley trying to catch up.
This is his strength. And we talked about Maryland wanting to run the basketball. Look at Hayes, the point guard, looking up the floor. A great look-ahead pass. Bekwe just running rim to rim, and Williams coming in late to the play. That's a great look by the freshman. And it's nice to see, you know what, your big guys run the floor. You want to reward them with passes.
Bekwe, one of those youngsters that decided to check the waters at the next level and wisely decided that college was the place for him. You see DJ Strawberry back on the floor after the 2 fouls in 50 seconds. One of them off the ball, and in fact in the same offensive sequence for Boston College, the opening one of the night.
And it should be noted, Tim, in the only loss this year to Notre Dame, Strawberry fouls out in that game. Now, he did play 38 minutes, but in trouble here. Now, he's got to really manage the last part of this first half and understand his foul situation.
Rice off the back iron. And you notice that Gary Williams does not have him checking Dudley right now. Parrish Brown just into the game with a quick launch. Mosby there to follow. Count the basket. Goaltending the call. Williams, who does have one rejection, that time got it on the flight downward towards the rim.
Well, anytime you're in point-blank range, that's a good call. And Dudley talked about it. He just wants to get a body on people so Williams can come in late, which he did that time, but it was too close to the rim. Good calls by the referee.
Tyrese Rice being checked by Brown. Strawberry now defensively handling Marquez Haynes, the sophomore from Irving, Texas, who's just come into the game. 0-0 for Boston College. Spears falling away. Oh, nice shot. Shamari Spears.
Told us today that he came here because Al Skinner let him play power forward. Perfect fit.
Here in Boston, the Eagles lead by 5 against the Maryland Terrapins. DJ Strawberry picked up a couple of quick fouls trying to check Jared Dudley. Just got back into the game for the first time in 9 minutes of action. Here's Bekwe, and he's fouled by Marquez Haynes, the sophomore we mentioned a few moments ago. Tim Brando alongside Mike Jaminski, Jen Hildreth. Happy to have you with us. ACC Sunday Night Hoops. Al Skinner, the head coach of the BC Eagles, took his team to the Sweet 16 a year ago. And of course his counterpart, Gary Williams, outside the NCAAs for the past 2 seasons. And as Skinner described it for us today, this Maryland team, Mike, has been playing with a chip on its shoulder because they were left out of the tournament for a second consecutive year.
And I think it's the senior group that's leading the way there. They've been away from the tournament. They want to get back.
What a strong move by Bekwe. Count the basket and he'll get to the strike.
Now that's good recognition by Maryland. Without Sean Williams, there's not a real shot blocker in the floor, and you got to understand Oates is going to try to step in and take the charge, just getting there a little bit late. Nice solid 2-foot jump stop by Bekwe to get the call.
Oates takes down the rebound for Boston College. Eagles led by as many as 9. The lead is 3. Pilfer, and here's Brown. Yes, and a foul. Tyrese Rice unable to stay with Parrish Brown.
This is the difference. Maryland is getting now, they're getting better defensive that time, and Osby anticipating that high post pass and getting out Parrish Brown very quick with the basketball in transition. Maryland now stiffening defensively, Tim, and getting some points as a result of it.
Brown, who figured to have his playing time cut into somewhat with the arrival of Gravis Vasquez and Eric Hayes, has been a solid contributor as a combo guard in the first 10 games of the season for the 9-1 Terps. We're tied at 21. It was a 19-10 game just 3 minutes ago. A solid run now by Maryland. Rice, a leaner. Oh, the bank is open late here in Chestnut Hill.
You have to understand with Rice, as a lefty, he wants to get to that hand and really a nice reverse pivot dribble.
Strawberry. Tough pass. Picked off by Dudley.
You always want to leave your feet as a scorer, not as a passer, and he had no outlet that time. Bad turnover.
Dudley, what a pass to Spears. He's rejected by Abekwe. Cleared to Strawberry. Boy, Abekwe got that one going with the rejection.
And how many easy baskets has Maryland gotten in the last 4 possessions because of their defense?
In many respects, that tempo control, Michael, we were talking about at the top of the show, is with Maryland, and it's been with them all game long. Now Rice, who has a way of getting the motor running at a higher decibel level than most of the guards for Al Skinner, can get lured into that.
But I think that, with Rice, that he's doing a little too much pounding the basketball right now. He's creating shots for himself, but I think that Al Skinner would like to see more movement in the offense.
He does have 12 points, so he's been very productive. Oates gets his hand in there on the entry to Strawberry. What nice hands to recover by DJ. And Abekwe's follow is no good, yet he's fouled. Ted Valentine spots it. It'll go against John Oates of Boston College. BC leads it by 2, but Abekwe's rejection leads to, shall we say, Strawberry Fields forever? We'll be back. Boston College leads by 2. Well, college football's greatest bowl games come to Fox, beginning with the AT&T Cotton Bowl Classic, followed by the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl, the FedEx Orange Bowl, the All-State Sugar Bowl, and concluding with the Tostitos BCS National Championship game between Florida and Ohio State. The BCS Bowl Bash coming to Fox beginning on New Year's Day. There's Bombali Osby, young man from Harris Junior College after playing at New Mexico for a season. He actually collects Cadillacs. He's got 4 Cadillacs. Now, only one is on campus. It's a 62 model parked behind the Comcast Center because the alternator fell out.
Yeah, none of them run.
Yeah, no, actually the other 2 do, but they're not. One's in Virginia. 62, 59, 60, and 68. I asked him what was the most he paid for one. He said $700. He loves to work with them, mechanically inclined. I wouldn't know what an alternator was.
Well, you got to think in its infinite wisdom, the NCAA is going to investigate that when he's got 4 cars.
It's one of the few times we could mention a Cadillac story with a student athlete.
It's your vintage car, isn't it?
Abekwe, oh, what a duck under. Doesn't make the shot going to the offhand, and it's pulled down by Shamari Spears.
With Sean Williams out, the paint really has opened up for Maryland. Now, they didn't get a shot that time, but they've been relentless going inside.
This ball tipped away, knocked out of there by Maryland. Boston College the last to touch it, appears. Well, no, Maryland was. It'll be retained to DC.
Yeah, when you're a great player, you get lots of company. Look at the red jerseys converging on Jared. Like 3 people got a piece of that ball, but to me, he's only got 4 field goal attempts. He needs to be more aggressive for BC.
Finds the open Oates. That's his spot, and he drains it.
See, I think if you're Maryland, you take your chance with John Oates shooting 3-pointers. You knock that one down, but if you get the ball out of Dudley's hands, you've got to be pretty happy with that.
BC leads it by 5. I know you've been impressed with the interior play of Maryland, though. It's an offensive foul against Vasquez. And Gravis not at all pleased with the call. It'll go the other way.
Well, it's a different type of interior. We talked about it. John Oates will step in and take charges if Vasquez just carried it a little too far on the dribble.
Osby is checked out of the game now for Maryland. Gist is back on the floor along with Ebekwe. I know you've been impressed with the interior play by Maryland on the defensive end. They've just been in front of every pass. Another deflection gets out to Strawberry. And Dudley again deflects it, and it goes back the other way to Marshall. Foul will go against Vasquez. That's Hayes that picks it up. I beg your pardon. Freshman. Marshall went in with authority that time.
Well, and this is what, we talked about DJ Strawberry when he was out for a stretch. BC got the lead in this game, but his return has meant a resurgence from Maryland. But then Dudley getting it back on the other end. And this is what you want to do on the break. Attack the rim strongly. Hayes not a shot blocker, so Sean Marshall gets rewarded for that aggressive play.
Another team captain along with Jared Dudley, Sean Marshall, senior, played at Eisenhower High School. Another one of those guys that plays 30-plus minutes. Boston College, without Akita McClain, they hope to get him back soon. He's suspended for the time being, but he may get back before the first of the year. They're playing about 7 guys, and that's it.
Yeah, he's eligible to come back for the Kansas game, and he's a guy who can give you a lot of points, but the bulk of the scoring for Boston College comes from their starting 5.
Oates with another takeaway for BC. That game against Kansas is December the 23rd. Nice rejection again. That was Gist. Outlet pass. Strawberry saves it. Now Numbers. Back to Gist.
See, that's the thing we talked about. Williams being out for BC, but to me, Maryland's got 2 shot blockers inside, and Ebekwe and Gist, and both of them been terrific.
And when Osby's been in, he's been productive. Boston College by 4, 5.5 and counting. From Tahi Forum in Chestnut Hill, Massachusetts. Tim Brando along with Mike Kaminsky and Jen Hilder. ACC Sunday Night Hoops. Dudley. Tough bounce. Oates gets his man airborne. And Gist will pick up the foul. Let's go over to Jen Hildreth. Jen?
You guys talking about Strawberry from Maryland and what an impact he's been able to make since returning to this game. You know, I talked to him. He is so much happier this year playing back in his natural position, not having to worry about all the things that come with playing point guard. And he said, I know this team runs off of me. I've got to start strong with a lot of energy. Well, he missed a little bit of the start, but he's certainly bringing that energy now.
The thing people don't understand about playing the point is how draining it is physically to be the primary ball handler, and all the things that he had to do. Now he's got reserves that he can go back, he can defend and score and do the things that he does naturally, although that experience at point is going to help him, Tim, because now he can break guys down off the dribble. He's a better ball handler as a result when he has to be.
Spears with the offensive rebound, and Osby with another rejection. Boy, I like his strength underneath.
Well, his favorite player is Ben Wallace. He's copied his hairstyle, and he's also copying the way he plays inside.
Yeah, I believe Wallace's Cadillac is a newer edition, a newer model.
You think?
Yeah. Strawberry off the bounce. Dudley clears for Boston College. Nice defensive work by Strawberry, but it's recovered by Dudley.
And consider that Strawberry's played this aggressively with 2 personal fouls. He's been in the game for 7 minutes now and has not picked up that 3rd.
Oates with the pick for Dudley. Oh, the iron unkind, but the foul from deep will get him to the stripe.
When we take a look at this matchup with Jared Dudley, and that time DJ Strawberry anticipating, shooting the gap. Tough cover for him, but I think out on the perimeter, he should have the advantage.
Ebekwe picked up the foul, and Dudley at the line.
And keep in mind, too, that Jared Dudley scores about 60% of his points in the second half. He likes to work people into the offense, and then he'll take over in the last 20 minutes. Now, see Sean Williams Williams coming back in for the last part of this first half to see how effective he is at closing down the interior against Maryland. But I'll say it again. We said it at the Open. I think Dudley's the most complete player in the league right now.
And Gary Williams certainly told us he didn't mince words at all today. And the best player in this league is Jared Dudley. Maybe a few people don't know it. Perhaps the centerpiece of attention is not in Boston for the Atlantic Coast Conference media. There's Osby again. Boy, he's very effective. 32-27.
Well, he did a nice job of finding the hole in that zone. He shaped up, made himself a target, and gets a bucket as a result.
There's Osby again on the overplay, wreaking havoc against Spears. Shot clock at 15. Another floater by Rice. He's made some game winners with that shot.
Let's see, Timmy, he's going right that time instead of left.
Yep. Marshall. Spears the offensive rebound. Rice again. Look at Marshall on the glass. Rejected again by Osby. Counted and a foul. How many more times, Jerry? How many more?
Gary Williams is immediately going to sub along the front line, and this is just relentless basketball by Boston College. They went through a little slump, but early on they had control of the offensive glass, and they get 4 opportunities in this game before Dudley scores.
Vasquez picked up the foul. Albeit a strike. Timeout. 3:21 remaining. It is intense in December because it means something. Conference play is here. Boston College leads by 7 here at the Coffee Forum. And take a look, Mike, at the preseason All-ACC team. Nothing but stars, but boy, Dudley living up to the advanced billing tonight and really throughout his career.
No, he has really been solid. Keep in mind, last year led the NCAA in minutes played, and he's up at 38 again this year. Yep. So, barring foul trouble, Al Skinner's going to have him on the floor. I think of that group, the only one maybe underperforming a little bit, Josh McRoberts at this point, has not stepped up as a primary scorer for Duke, but Jared Dudley here early. Again, we talked about working slowly into the game, but just a terrific sequence on the offensive glass in that last possession.
Told us earlier today that he spent some time this summer in Santa Barbara as a counselor for the Jordan Flight School. He said, really didn't counsel nearly as much as I played. I got to play with a lot of good guys.
Well, and
so he enjoyed himself.
And he's doing a lot more off the dribble this year. With Craig Smith in the post, he didn't have that opportunity, but we talked about it. He gets out on the floor a little bit more.
There's the dump down. Count it. Off the glass. Oates with a really nice entry pass to Dudley, who was posting out.
That's a nice read. Now, Gary Williams is going to have to respond to that because Vasquez can't handle him inside, nor can DJ Strawberry. So if they consistently get Dudley in on the post, they're going to have to make some adjustments.
See those second chance points, a real key for Boston College. 11-2 they lead. Will Bowers is on the floor for the first time, number 31 for Maryland. Rice, a leaping leaner in the lane that won't go. Jones takes it down. Spears knocks it away. Oates lost it. Deflected off of Oates. It belongs to the Maryland Terrapins. Well, next Sunday, Pac-10 basketball returns to FSN. 9th-ranked LSU will battle Oregon State in an early season non-conference game. I look forward to seeing that game. Coverage begins Sunday at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific, right here on FSN. That's some road trip that John Brady's decided to take. He's going to play Washington and Oregon State in the same West Coast trip.
Boy, and they are playing a challenging non-conference schedule this year before they get into a very tough SEC.
Playing Texas tonight. Vasquez. Long rebound, control to Dudley. So Bowers on the floor along with Hayes, Gist, Vasquez, and Mike Jones for Maryland. Oates, Spears, Marshall, Dudley, and Rice on the deck for BC. Spears. Just up and over Marshall to reel that rebound in, and the foul will go a push against Oates. Now coming up at halftime, the Acura halftime report. Hoops highlights from around the nation. Have a nice feature on the Terrapins and Eagles game played a season ago. First road game in conference play for Boston College was played at Maryland. And Mike and I will recap the first half with highlights and stats.
BC lost their first 3 ACC contests last year. Got off to a very rocky start, but then had a big win against NC State here, and that really sparked the rest of their season. Had a terrific ACC tournament final against Duke. Great game.
Also, Pat Duquette, longtime assistant here at Boston College. We'll be chatting with Jen Hildreth as we go to break at halftime. By the way, both of these coaches, both Gary Williams and Al Skinner, have gone through changes within their staff. Interesting to see another Drizel on the Maryland staff. Chuck, who played at Maryland all the way up until 1985. We asked Gary Williams today about Chuck Drizel coming to his staff. He says, well, you get 2 for 1. You adopt lefty when you hire Chuck.
Yeah, the left-hander actually recruited me out of high school, which we might get into a little bit later.
Yep. Little 3-man game, and Rice launches out of bounds. Last touch by Maryland. Let's go over to Jen Hildreth. Jen?
Tim, watch Maryland on those rebounds. That's what Gary Williams was yelling at his team about during the last timeout. He said, you guys have got to tough it out if you want to win this game. Go get the ball.
Marshall. Oh, up and over. And that was out of position over a Terrapin back.
And it's a lot tougher, Timmy, to rebound out of a zone than it is man-to-man. And Maryland that time got cautioned, though. It's just padded it up. Sometimes the ball drops through for you, but a decided advantage on the glass for BC right now.
And Boston College equals its largest lead of 9. They led 19-10 early on in this game when Strawberry was in foul trouble early, picking up 2 in the first minute. Maryland came back to tie the game, and now BC on another mini run before the break.
Well, they're 2 big guns from the outside. Mike Jones is really struggling in this game, and Strawberry has not been a big scorer so far because of foul trouble.
Jones, a streaky shooter, made 1 early and has been in a drought since.
So, except for a few runouts, I think Al Skinner very happy with the pace of this game.
7-second differential between the shot clock and the game clock. Rice lost it. Quick hands by Hayes. Plenty of time. Jones on the run out. Missed the dunk. Rice at the buzzer. Oh, and Gary Williams will remind his team and Jones about the blown opportunity on the run out to close the first half. Those easy ones you just cannot let go.
Big opportunity missed. And hey, look at it. It's, you know, it could have had a nice little run out and a momentum builder.
Let's go over to Jen Hildreth. Jen?
Tim, I'm with Coach Duquette here for Boston College. Coach Al Skinner talked to us about controlling the tempo and rebounding. Are you guys happy with what you've seen so far?
I think we did a pretty good job. A lot of that came down to us handling the press, and we did that. We made some pretty good decisions.
Any changes for the second half?
I don't think so. I think it's working pretty good. We just got to make sure when we get the ball over half court, we continue to make good decisions in half court.
All right, thanks very much, Coach. Tim, back to you.
All right, Jen, thank you. When we return, the Acura halftime report with highlights from other games today, plus a look back at a great game between these two last year. You're watching ACC Sunday Night Hoops. ACC Sunday Night Hoops is brought to you by Dodge. You can take life as it comes, or you can grab life by the horns. Dodge. And by Best Buy, helping you wrap up the wow this holiday season. Visit bestbuy.com for ideas and information. Next to Alumni Stadium, Convy Forum here in Chestnut Hill on the outskirts of Boston. Tim Brando, Mike Jaminski, Jen Hildreth. Second half underway here at ACC Sunday Night Hoops. Week 2, and we've got another magnificent Sunday night matchup in Blacksburg, Virginia a week from tonight. And, of course, a special Saturday game in North Carolina against UNC Asheville that Mike Jaminski will be at during the day on Saturday. Foul spotted. It'll go against Sean Marshall. Offensive foul. Got caught with that wing out there just a bit.
And you can see Gary Williams trying to jumpstart his team, extending the pressure, try to get BC out of the rhythm a little bit.
Strawberry. He needs a better start to the second half than he had in the first. He picked up 2 fouls in 50 seconds and sat for the next 8 minutes, which allowed Boston College to get a lead. Now, when he got back into the game, suddenly an 11-2 run got Maryland into a tie at 23, and then after that, another Boston College run, largely due to their control of the offensive glass, got them that 9-point cushion at the break. 38-32 our score now. There's the overplay, and it's a Beckway. Past Marshall.
Timmy, when BC's trying to deliver the ball to the high post, Maryland has done a good job of coming from the outside and getting a steal.
Dealing with that pressure is always an issue when you play against Maryland, and Dudley doing his best to help Rice. He just got it over the timeline. 9 seconds to get it to midcourt. That old coaching's axiom, ragging the ball. That's what they love to do. Force you to use up some clock and bring some stress into the backcourt. Beckway turned it over. Got caught in no man's land with that pass.
Ryan, that's not his fault. I mean, you're going to put that on the freshman point guard. You don't deliver the ball to your big man right there to put him in trouble.
Eric Hayes working on Rice. Freshman versus sophomore.
BC trying to get Jared Dudley the ball in the post against Strawberry.
Marshall. Oh, the nice offhand maneuver in the lane. 40-34.
None of the shot blockers for Maryland stepping up for penetration. Dudley actually had his side sealed, and that gave Marshall the lane.
Last touch by a Beckway. Boston College will have it. Two and a half minutes gone by here in the second half.
Gary Williams talking about making the easy pass across the zone that time.
Rice gets past Hayes, used his quickness. Dudley with one putback opportunity to no avail. Hayes had Strawberry out there, couldn't get to him in time. This guy brings a lot of grit and determination and passion to the game. There were times in the last couple of years that first Gist off the entry pass comes up empty, the ball was deflected. Good defensive work by Boston College. There were times when Maryland was accused of lacking intensity, that they were a little too low-key.
That's on the defensive end of the floor primarily. I think that's what was upsetting last year to Gary Williams more than anything, and it seems to have returned for this ball club.
Oh, that's a case of the iron being downright rude as opposed to just unkind. Foul spotted underneath. It goes against Afinia Beckway. So Marshall will get to the stripe. The ball was lodged between the rim and the glass. Let's take a look at the G-Man's game plan revisited.
Right now you look at it, and for Boston College, more than holding their own on the glass, and that's the difference in this game, especially second chance opportunities, which they have a chance to get 2 more here. And for Maryland, BC's calmed them down in the open court. Only 34 points for Maryland with 16:20 to go in this game.
Hayes leads the game. Hayes leads the game, and Gravis Vasquez comes in for him. Sean Marshall at the stripe, averaging 13 a game, trying to get to double digits with 10. And he does.
That puts a lot of pressure on Maryland now. 3 double-figure scores for Boston College.
Boy, what defense by Williams.
You're going to get your wish because Osby is going to come in for Kenny Ebekwe. He has had a tough first 4 minutes in the second half.
Dudley, no one rotated over to pick him up.
Just does whatever he has to do to beat you.
Gary Williams wants to take a 30-second timeout. Getting Osby on the floor becomes a bit more important. We're going to take a full break now. We are better than 4 minutes deep. Boy, DJ Strawberry is vehemently upset in that huddle. The lead is 10. Boston College with its first double-digit lead of the night by 10, better than 4 minutes gone by. And the news of this week, Bob Knight, 877 and counting with a couple of wins against Louisiana schools. Beat Louisiana Tech on the road and then beat Centenary College at home to pass the Baron Adolph Rupp and Dean Smith in his sights, only 3 away from becoming the all-time winningest coach. And by the way, congratulations to Dean's protege, Roy Williams, got his 500th career win yesterday against High Point.
An incredible job coming off the national championship win a couple of years ago for Roy Williams in Chapel Hill. You got to figure he's going to be there for a while. You know, look at him moving up, and Mike Krzyzewski, he may be the guy that could challenge Bob Knight when he actually gets that record.
It's tough to find after that guys that are within, say, less than 10 years away after that.
Yeah, well, you know, with Coach K, if he coaches 12 more years and averages 25 wins, he'll be close to 1,000 for his career.
Steal by Gist. That was an emotional timeout that Maryland took. Strawberry was very upset. Gist was emotional in the huddle. A lot of guys challenging one another in that Maryland huddle during that full timeout taken by Gary Williams.
And this is what they've done to kind of claw back into this thing, is extend their defense.
Oates. And if you beat the pressure, it can happen.
That's a technical foul on Oates.
Yep.
Just hung on the rim.
John Cowell right on top of it. He and Mike Eads making the call very quickly.
Yeah, that's a good call. There was no need. He did a chin up. There was nobody underneath him that he had to save himself for. That was just letting the emotions get away from him and costing his team a potential couple of points.
Yeah, Gist was not under, nor was Vasquez. That's a good call. Little too much mustard. Or French pastry, as Al McGuire used to say. We'll be right back. BC leads 46-36. Saturday, ACC College Hoops takes the floor. We mentioned it earlier, UNC Asheville will be looking to pull the upset against number 3 North Carolina. Eddie Biedenbach and company making a visit. Coverage begins at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 Pacific, right here on FSN. Eddie Biedenbach, we remember from his days as an assistant at NC State. And we look at Tyler Hansbrough, one of probably the preseason choice for Player of the Year in this conference.
And, you know, his numbers are about the same as last year, but they're so much deeper that they're impressive as a result. It's still very much the go-to guy inside. That Brandon Wright has been a nice bookend for him down low.
Off the technical foul, Jones will shoot the free throw for Maryland. And he'll have another.
And so that's, you know, it's unfortunate. And Oates fired up and gets his team points on the break, but negated because of the technical foul. So it's a wash.
Oates is one of those guys, you look back, you know, he got the starting role. This is his 44th consecutive start. Sean Williams has always played a great deal. In a lot of respects, he surprised a number of people when he got his opportunity and has got some skills in passing the basketball as well.
Well, that's because Williams started the year out in suspension last year for 7 games, and then he never took the starting role back from Oates. He came off the bench.
He got Wally pipped. Osby, there's that strength we talked about. Rejected inside by Williams.
See, that's just so hard. You go through one body, and then you have to come against Williams again with not a lot of strength.
Marshall reaching around, picks up the personal. Second foul on Sean Marshall.
Here's the look inside. You see the body, and Osby doing a nice job on the glass, but Dudley takes the initial hit, and that allows Williams to elevate.
Rice, Dudley, Marshall, Williams. And a nice job done underneath by Gist.
That was a quick three, but Gist just exploded off the floor, beat everybody up to the basketball. He's been the best frontline player for Maryland in this game along with Osby.
Kamari Spears, number 34, is coming to the game replacing Oates. Dudley finds Rice. Off the screen from Williams. Vasquez trying to fight through it, as was Gist. And James Gist will pick up the foul.
Gist is lobbying for his freshman teammate to get the foul instead. But, you know, I think you'll see a steady diet of this, that Boston College needs to run the ball through Jared Dudley in the low post, because that's going to force Maryland to double team, and he did a nice job of kicking out and finding Rice on that play.
Mike, you've talked about it often. There is a striking similarity in terms of pattern to offense between these two. The speed and tempo, obviously, Maryland's 94-foot style is well documented. Boston College a bit more methodical, but they both run the flex, and the difference, the nuances of it are such that you really have to have a keen eye to see what the different approach to the flex is.
Well, we haven't seen a lot of the cuts with Maryland because BC's been in the zone a lot of the time. I'll try to illustrate and pick that up. BC runs it very tight to the lane, occupying all four corners of the lane. Maryland much more spread out along the baseline.
Osby working in over Williams. That time he used that girth, that wide body of his, to get up and over the shot blocker.
Right. And you've got to take the body against the shot blocker so he can't elevate. We talked about anytime you fade away, you favor the shot blocker, but if you go at him and go to his chest, you can get your shot off, especially with that little jump hook.
Williams over Vasquez. The dump down from Dudley was a good one.
That's just his go-to move.
Spears lost it off his shoe as he was trying to reel it in. Out of bounds to Maryland. I like what I see out of this junior college transfer.
Yeah, let's take a look at it. If he gets the ball nice, spread it and spread out, the shot blocker will give way. And just that little bump going right at him, there was no room for Williams to elevate.
Vasquez, a solo. Gist trying for the putback slam. And an offensive foul. Strawberry gets his third.
Right, it's a big, they're just flying at the basket. And here's a
tough call.
Yeah, tough call, and it almost looked like Strawberry tripped a little bit, and that's what got him off balance and out of control.
49-42. Strawberry plays with three. Gist has three for Maryland. Jones had it and lost it. Marshall not there. Cleared by Jones. Regardless of the outcome tonight, this is a much improved Maryland team. Got a couple of items in their favor now that they did not have a season ago. Better guard play, that's obvious. And they're more physical underneath with the addition of Osby.
And let's see what Vasquez's role is in this game. He really sparked them in the second half against Illinois, and see what he is able to do down the stretch.
Sean Marshall leads the game. Marquez Haynes, 0-0, checking in for him. Belongs to BC.
As a freshman mistake there. He tried to hit it off the back of a BC defender inside, and it wound up going off him out of bounds. It's a risky play to try with plenty of time on the shot clock.
Eric Hayes back on the floor replacing Vasquez. Haynes, a combo guard, does play the point from time to time in relief of Rice, but is an off guard naturally. Tries to save that one. The defensive play by Hayes leads to the turnover for Boston College. Over 8 minutes gone here in the second half here at the County Forum. Al Skinner's team with a 7-point cushion.
Maryland Terrapins trying to get back in this game as Boston College leads the Terps by 7 here in the second half. And you know, for Maryland to get going in this game, you might look to a freshman to start making things happen. Gravis Vasquez, they call him super big time, and that's certainly what he was against Illinois. How about that? Scoring directly off the inbounds, and he's got a lot of flair. Gets the assist here to Osby. He can do a little bit of everything. He has the key steal right here at the end of the game that sealed it for Maryland to get the win over Illinois. 17 points in the game, 15 in the second half. What do you think, guys? Can he be the catalyst that gets things going for the Terps in this one?
Well, he's going to need to. There's no doubt about that, Jen, because he's 0 for 6 from the floor in his ACC debut. Defensive intensity picks up in this league, and they do scout you well. But along with he and Hayes, this is a much improved Maryland team. Going to need to be more active and assertive when he is back on the floor. 49-42, Boston College by 7.
That's amazing. There's so many firsts that you go through, but your first road ACC contest is always very tough.
Dudley in traffic. Osby again brings it down with authority. Strawberry with numbers. And he's rejected by Williams. He might have thought better to give that one up. Rice to Dudley. Yes, and a foul.
That was a beautiful delivery by Tyrese Rice. Boston College turning defense into offense. The block down at one end by Sean Williams. You're right, Jimmy. He would have been better served to just kind of take this up. The arm's so long. And then Rice just looking ahead. Jared Dudley shaping up inside.
Oh, that was a laser.
Yep. Giving a little love to the people here at BC on Sunday night.
And you know, we should give this crowd a lot of credit. This time a year ago when you came in for, I did the first ACC game played here. I was very impressed tonight with the kind of activity we're getting from this raucous crowd. That wasn't the case a season ago when they were coming into the league. We talked earlier with Al Skinner about that.
We've seen much more excitement generated because the student body is closer to the floor, and that's been exceptional. But probably the most important thing that I'm impressed by is that the adults are kind of getting into the game a little bit. So we've been happy about that. I mean, I think it's a good environment. I think they're very supportive, and the most important thing, I think they're smart fans and they understand the game.
Right, you know what he's talking about, if you look at the arena, the students are down in the end zone, very close to the action, so they had a lot of noise to it, and it was actually an adult who got the high five from Jared Dudley.
Jones gets the quick slam, and the lead down to 8. Out of the timeout, Mike Jones, along with Osby, James Gist, Eric Hayes, and DJ Strawberry, the 5 on the floor for Maryland.
That's a nice adjustment by Jones. His jump shot has not been working for him to attack the rim.
Haynes, he's a scorer out of Irving, Texas. Happy to be here.
We thought we might see Haynes and Rice playing together in the backcourt. A little bit smaller with Marshall out, but giving some nice production.
Jones pulls up. That time Dudley inadvertently getting that pass from Spears and Rice in the same position. A little communication from the leader. Going back to the youngster out of Salisbury, North Carolina.
And it was just players fighting over the ball, and Spears almost knocked it out of Rice's hands on that play. Really argue with the over-aggressiveness of the youngster playing very hard.
Down the first shot, gets in better position for a better look at the basket. Eric Hayes, he's hit 1 3 tonight. He's got the potential to light it up, but he's A pass first, distributor of the basketball, point guard.
When you have more assists than field goal attempts, that's your mindset, and that's what he had 47 to 32 on the year.
There's a steal by Gist, again on the overplay. Up and over Williams. And a wise choice to use his body as a shield. Now the student body's a little upset, felt he hung on the rim, but no call.
It was close, but not quite as overt as Oates' play at the other end. But Kenny, Maryland has continually shot the gap on that top of the key to top of the key pass by Boston College. They've got to be better with that look. Anticipate that play. Maybe get a ball fake.
Dudley. Bounce pass is tough to grab in there, but Williams has outstanding hands, and he's fouled underneath as he takes it to the rack.
You see this is the pass. We talk about it in that offense, and Gist anticipating it. Williams a little lackadaisical in receiving the ball and just kept himself between the shot blocker and the basket.
Oh yeah, they could have called it.
Yeah, that was close.
Yeah, indeed.
I think the difference in those two dunks that Gist did not do a chin-up on the play. Here's the one I know, so this is the thing. Dunks right there, hold on, but that's what gets you the call during the chin-up right there.
That's fine for the slam dunk contest at the end of the year when you haven't made it to the Final Four. That'll get you lit up every time. By the way, those are enjoyable to watch. It means you've been knocked out of the tournament. 56 to 48. Vasquez in traffic. Rice got him on the way up. Haynes was coming over to help as well. A foul against Tyrese Rice. Sports Ultimate Nightly Highlight Show is here. The FSN Final Score. Every great highlight, unforgettable moment every night on FSN, the only national show that gives you nothing but wall-to-wall highlights. The FSN Final Score, nightly at 10:30.
Tell the story about Vasquez on the first day of practice. What he did.
That was unreal. He just, it's better for you. Well,
he pops in first day of practice.
Awesome story that Gary told us today.
He pops into Gary Williams' office, stands there, salutes him, and says, "Reporting for duty, sir," and walked out of the office.
It was the first time that the South American salute came to the North American coach. He's got a tremendous work ethic and love of the game. Gary just basically says there's an offensive foul against Dudley. Basically,
Spears
picked up the foul
on the moving screen.
On the moving pick.
Yeah, trying to free up Dudley.
But Gary just said, his point to us was, the kid's just crazy. I love him. Just a crazy kid, but the kind of crazy you love. He meant it in such a positive way. Hayes with a ball fake. Williams with the rebound. Spears lost it.
It's been a tough sequence for the freshman. The last two times down, the offensive foul and then the turnover right there.
Another one.
Yep. Just trying to be over-aggressive and make something happen when nothing was there.
I was thinking after Gary told us that story today, he may be the only coach in America that's not at a military academy that got a salute from an incoming player. 56 to 50. Just over 8 minutes left. Beckway rejected by Williams. Osby rejected by Williams. Vasquez up and over. Pulled down by Williams, fouled by Osby.
Sean Williams, we talked about it, is a difference maker on the defensive end of the floor. 2 consecutive blocks and a bother and a rebound and a foul, all by number 51.
Remember rejection row in Georgetown? Here in Beantown, they've got a one-man show. What a block party he's put on. 4 for the night. Timeout. BC by 6.
Boston College ahead by 6, and the big dog in the backyard for BC is Sean Williams, and he has just been an intimidating defensive force all throughout this year for Al Skinner, just consistently beating Purdue on that one play, and then the one block he doesn't get, he alters and gets the rebound. Tim, 5 blocks for him already, and for some people that would be a career, that's an average night.
Yeah. He has 173 and counting in 124 games. He's not far behind Burnett Adams, who in 83 was able to get the career record, but he did so in many more games than Sean Williams. Almost half as many games played by Sean Williams to get close to breaking the all-time school record than Burnett Adams had back in the 83 season as he concluded his career.
A poor job by BC, though, in that half court against the press by Maryland. Rice didn't do a good job of finding his teammates.
Tough pass. Hayes looking to find Osby. Overshot him.
Talked about it. He usually takes very good care of the basketball. 2-to-1 assist ratio, which is very good for a guard and very good for a freshman. But sometimes you just have to settle for the easy pass.
Strawberry deflected it in front of Dudley, out of bounds to Boston College. Spears remains on the floor for Boston College, along with Rice, Dudley, John Williams, and Marquez Haynes. Haynes operating at the point now, 0-0. Was all leather, good defense by Strawberry. He's playing with 3 as his Gist is out of the game now. Out of bounds. Shot clock down to 4. So it would be a quick launch coming up for BC.
Be careful of the inbounder in this play for Maryland.
Especially when the inbounder is Dudley. Rice deflected by Strawberry. Saved, but the shot clock wound down. We're going to get a foul with no time on the shot. A half second on the shot clock, and Vasquez is whistled for the foul.
Yeah, that foul definitely came just a fraction before the horn went off. Yep. And boy, BC getting bailed out in a big way. Maryland makes a nice defensive play off the inbound, but Sean Williams gets there.
1-1 for Williams.
Here's the look. Strawberry with the block there. Then Williams in the reach-in. Yeah, it was a good call. Still time on the clock.
And that youthful exuberance coming into play for Vasquez.
Well, it's tough. It's a bang-bang play, Tim. Yep. And you know, you can't take for granted. He just didn't want to, Williams probably was not going to be able to make a play, and they would have gotten the shot clock violation, but you can't anticipate. There's not enough time.
Jones re-enters the game, and Eric Hayes sits down. Now, Jones is that instant offense, but you know what? Sometimes when a shooter is well defended, he begins to take tougher shots, and that touch can be lost. Struggled against Notre Dame, having some difficulty tonight. Boy, Osby is just a rebounding machine. Look at him inside, hitting past Dudley. And he took advantage of Williams not being in a position to block that one.
He got a little bit of a break, too, because that jump shot by Ebekwe rebounded long. He was there right there, but very strong. When he gets his hands on the ball, nobody else can attack it.
Bombali Osby, they call him Boom. I believe he got a whistle. Maybe a violation, lane violation here. John Cal bringing Ted Valentine over. Maybe there might have been an inadvertent whistle. And John Cal called time, so he'll get the shot over again. No argument from Al Skinner.
Well, I think what happened was there was an attempt by Dudley to move across the lane and kind of flip positions.
Right. His nickname is Boom. When he gets the ball inside, it's like a sonic boom when he comes down with it. He rebounds with authority. Jones That's the triple that they wanted. And look out, because if he begins to drain them, he can become almost automatic. He's such a streaky shooter.
Well, in years past, if he started off slowly, he usually didn't work himself into the game. But now he's been able to do that. He can do other things on the floor if he's not shooting well.
Haynes not there. Put back. Counted. Spears. Now he needed something positive to happen. The freshman from Blair, New Jersey Academy by way of Salisbury, North Carolina. He had been in a difficult sequence, as you had said.
And you know what? And Al Skinner stuck with him. And I think that's the type of coach that he is. And, you give confidence to a player, anticipating, setting up shop on the weak side. That's just good anticipation by the freshman.
I asked him earlier, coming out of prep school, did he get any looks from other places closer to home? He said, yeah, I did, but most of them wanted me to play the small forward, and I've been a power forward all my career. Coach Skinner made me believe that I had a chance to play the 4 spot. He is undersized for the position, but so too was Craig Smith in a lot of ways. Nice work by Gist. 61-57.
He's done a nice job in this game inside. He's been their best force in the paint, and it looks like he's worked and polished his low box game a little bit. Nice little jump hook. Dudley's been really quiet in this last little stretch. Let's see if he tries to take over this game in the last 5 minutes.
There he is, right on cue. Strawberry looking to push. Jones really wants it. You can sense that he's looking to spot up as quickly as possible.
Well, and again, in years past with him, if he wasn't shooting the ball well, he really didn't bring much else to the table. But Gary Williams said he's been a much better basketball player.
A sneaky move by Vasquez. The Boston College defense failed to recognize him, and he took advantage.
He's perfected that art already of leaning and getting in and taking the body as he attacks the basket.
By the way, Strawberry fouled by Dudley. That's an offensive foul. We'll go the other way. Speaking of Jared, he just passed of all people, Michael Adams. Now on the staff of Gary Williams at Maryland. He's now in 10th place all time on the BC scoring list.
I feel your pain, Mike. Went through this last year.
I thought that tour would never end.
You and me both.
Bye-bye, G-Man. Vasquez rejected by Williams. Loose ball, run down. Strawberry was out of bounds. He was on the end line. It belongs to BC.
There's the shot clock right here. And boy, he's just so long-armed that he can back off a little bit.
Marshall, a run out. How quick was that? 65-59.
Control pace, but they can explode when they want to. Sean Marshall just beating everybody from Maryland up the floor.
Strawberry turns it over. Miscommunication between he and Abekwe. Timeout. Boston College has the lead over number 23 Maryland. (65-59), Boston College with the lead along with Jen Hildreth and my partner Mike Kaminsky. Tim Brando, do you get the same feeling, Mike, that I get in this game? All these highlights for BC, Williams a shot blocking machine, and yet we're only 2 possessions away from Maryland being in a tie game. I get the feeling that Mike Jones is in a position to get Maryland right back in whenever they need it.
Well, certainly you look at Maryland, they've got more firepower from the outside, the ability to get back and make three-point baskets. And, if you're on the road, a close game is exactly what you want. Give yourself a chance to win in the last 4. And this Maryland team should feel good about it. They go into Illinois, a true road game, and get a win there. So they've got confidence that they can go into enemy territory and get a win.
He's out of the game now, but that's not uncommon Don't be surprised if we see defensive for offensive substitutions as they get a quick turnover off the inbounds pass.
Vasquez and Hayes have been limited in this game. Still playing for them to make an impact, but as I say, first road ACC counter is always tough.
Beckway turned it over. Osby will come back in.
15th turnover for Maryland, and you've got to stay within yourself. Beckway just needed to make the easy pass instead of trying to put the ball on the floor.
Under 4 to play. Each possession becomes so much more valuable. Rice in traffic, gets it up to Dudley. You expect Al Skinner's team to begin utilizing shot clock each possession. And his offense, pretty much every player on the floor can handle the basketball. Clock winding down. Dudley gets Vasquez airborne and schooled the freshman. That's right out of the clinic that he was a counselor for this past summer.
Boy, if you're a senior and you get a freshman on you, your eyes just light up. And Dudley using the pump fake, and Maryland played good defense for a majority of that shot clock. Boy, but at the end, it's just so hard not to go up instead of just getting a hand up and contesting on what would have been a very difficult jump shot for Dudley to convert.
4th foul on Vasquez. Strawberry has played with 3 much of this second half. Mike Jones will be coming in shortly. Dudley toweling off before getting to the stripe. We have maybe a clock issue.
Well, no, I think we're looking at.
I think they want to check whether the line was, whether it was a 2-shot foul or a 3-shot foul.
Take a look at it. Watch his feet.
No, it was a 3.
Well, let's see. Let's roll it forward. Yeah, he should get 3 shots.
Yes, he should.
Yep.
As he leaned in, at the moment he did, I thought he was inside the arc. But a good job of officiating there, Mike Eads. John Cal and company did it right.
Another one of Jared Dudley's strengths, 79% from the free throw line.
And of course, one of your strengths is one of the great analysts I've ever worked with.
The free throw defense.
Yes, it always happens. It's like an early flight. It's going to happen. You will be delayed at some point. 0 for 2, look at this. Al Skinner's in disbelief. People forget what an outstanding player Al Skinner was. Think of his career as a collegiate, UMass, and then on the professional level.
Wow.
He missed all 3 of those.
That didn't look good at all either.
That could be a big moment in this game. But Williams, that's not going to go down as a block shot, but it's every bit as important as the 7 blocks that he's had tonight.
Well, you're up there, and if you're big, get your arms moving, and he got the deflection. Exactly what a defensive lineman wants to do when he's rushing the quarterback. Get your hands up and cut those passing lanes down.
Marshall on the wing, rejected by Gist. Tough pass. Osby, a great deflection inside. Saved by Williams. 1 on the shot clock, and an excellent defensive sequence for Maryland.
Wow, bodies flying all over the place.
I believe Al Skinner felt that the ball had touched the rim at some point in that sequence. I believe that's his argument.
No,
I don't think it did.
From that angle, it did not look like the ball hit the rim.
It hit the glass, but not the rim.
Take a look at it from another angle. This possession just was a struggle.
Well, that was a deflection, and it never touched the rim.
Nope, never did.
Nope.
Good call. Referees have done a terrific job in this game, Tim, utilizing the replay and the video on the sideline. They've gotten every call right.
Supervisor of officials John Clafferty, who's on site, would be very proud of that tonight. We're here in Chestnut Hill with the County Forum. Boston College by 6. A 2-possession game with 2.5 and counting. Tim Brando, Mike Jaminski, Jen Hilbert. Happy to have you with us. A key possession here for Maryland. Strawberry, a leaner. Off the back iron, Dudley retrieves it for Boston College.
I think if you would have asked the score that Al Skinner would be comfortable with, he's right in that zone right now. They've really kept Maryland under wraps, coming in averaging over 80 points a game.
Williams. And early in the game, Mike, if you recall, while Boston College got out to a quick start, the pace of the game was really to Maryland's left. That changed towards the end of the first half. Osby rejected, number 8. Strawberry off the back rim. That might have been the killer rejection of the night. Williams might have shut the door, slammed it on Maryland in that sequence.
I kind of think
Dudley!
Running out of the offense, getting the screen inside. But I was going to talk about, it's almost like either Tim Duncan or Ralph Sampson to go back to a shot blocker who's had an impact in a season like Sean Williams has had this year. Here's a look inside. I mean, taking the body and coming from the weak side, you just have to be aware of where he is. And then that's that flex cut inside. Jared Dudley getting it done.
And an outstanding find by the freshman Spears.
Yeah. You gotta get, when you're running that flex offense, two things have to happen. You have to get good screens and good decisions. Both things happened on that play, and Dudley gets a layup.
Well, think about it, Mike. A couple of minutes ago, we were talking about a 2-possession game, even though Boston College had these thunderous plays on the defensive end. And what happened? Williams comes out and gets a deflection on an entry pass that leads to a turnover, and really a 5-point swing as they hit a 3. Let's go over to Jen Hilbert.
Tim, Jared Dudley always seems at those big baskets. He's so smart about where to be on the floor, what he's going to do with the ball. He's a student of the game. He said, when I was a kid, other kids were watching cartoons. I was watching sports, and you really see that uncanny ability tonight.
Osby lost it on the way up. Boston College now puts Maryland in position where they have to begin fouling.
Vasquez says they'd be picking up his 5th foul. That's right.
Jones will get it rather than Vasquez. 54.4 remaining.
This was a team, Timmy, in Boston College that I was I'd picked for them to be one of the top 2 or 3 teams in the league, and they had a national ranking coming out, but Williams missed the first couple of games with suspension, and they stumbled at Providence and then lose a home game to Vermont here where they only score 63 points. But really, they seem to have righted the ship against Michigan State in the Big Ten Challenge. It was a big win for them here, and this is another solid win. So I think at the end of the season, Boston College is going to be right there.
Well, the thing you have to remember is you see Marquez Haynes replacing Spears, who I think really overcame some difficulty in the second half and then made a solid contribution. Al Skinner's teams, they just go out and play. You know, they're never too up, they're never too down. It's under the radar nationally and maybe even in their own hometown, but they consistently go out and play the game in a business-like fashion.
And Al Skinner's, it gives them that latitude. He said, hey, you guys, go figure it out on the court. We'll give you the framework. I'm not saying that he doesn't coach this team. He does a great job of coaching, but he expects them to assume a lot of the responsibility.
Maryland will get to the strike. Gist after the foul.
James Gist at the line shooting 2.
In thinking about Al Skinner and that approach that you were talking about, Mike, it sort of reminds me a college version, really, of Lenny Wilkins. Very quiet demeanor, Eloquent, yes, but not in search of attention.
Well, and professional in a lot of ways.
That's right.
I don't want to bring that. It's college, and it is what it is. But he played professional basketball, and I just think a lot of what they do, and his demeanor comes from that experience, and you are what your experiences are, and he brings a lot to that, and I think his players respond.
We see the upcoming schedule: a big game against Kansas, a nationally televised game on the 23rd against the Jayhawks, who are slight of size, but boy, are they athletic.
And goes up against his former assistant coach, Bill Cohn, at Northeastern. Opportunity for him.
Terrapins, of course, have that really nice ACC Big Ten Challenge victory against Illinois. Shot 72% in the second half against Bruce Weber's team. We'll see what they have in front of them before they get into conference play. Iona was a tournament team a year ago. Ball knocked away. Last touch by Strawberry. Or Jones, I beg your pardon. Parrish Brown will check into the game for Jones. 33.8 remaining and a 10-point lead for BC. It's a scramble situation now for Maryland defensively.
Haynes, if you're a guard, you've got to try to receive the ball in the middle of the floor somehow and not get pinned into the corner where it's much easier to double team.
Haynes picks up the foul. I will say this, regardless of the outcome of this game, I'm impressed with this young Maryland team, and that's really what it is, a blend for Gary Williams of 6 seniors and a lot of incoming freshmen and newcomers. Osby, a JC player, and of course the freshmen playing collectively at guard, Vasquez and Hayes. I think there's reason for renewed optimism in College Park.
Well, and I think the thing that people might have underestimated about Maryland, ideally you'd like your point guards with experience.
Yes.
And that was the X factor, how the young kids would step in and run this ball club. It's a lot of pressure, and you've got senior and upperclassmen who are finishers. But I really think Hayes and Vasquez are going to be okay.
Vasquez, another example of what you'll see in the future from the Terps. Quick hoop for him. Vasquez has struggled tonight. At one point was 0 for 6. He does have 6 points now on the game. And a reminder, Dan Bonner and I will be on hand in Blacksburg next week as the Demon Deacons take on Virginia Tech. Coverage begins at 5:30 Eastern, 2:30 Pacific, right here on FSN. Now you have to, we're not in the business of rooting for individuals, teams, or coaches, but after what Seth Greenberg endured last year with his club, off the court as well as on, but mostly off the court, you have to wish the best for he and his team this season.
He's got upperclassmen in the backcourt, and Gordon and Dowdell. They've struggled. They've lost some challenging games on neutral courts. Western Michigan, very good. Southern Illinois, a very good team. George Washington, a close game. All their losses have been by a combined 8 points.
Sounds similar, doesn't it?
Yeah, but
a year ago.
But they've been very good at home.
Yeah, the Castle Coliseum. It was loud years ago when they were in the old Metro Conference. It's even louder now that they're in the ACC. Jones, rebound to Dudley, save to Rice, and he will tuck this one away. BC moves to 1-0 in conference play. 6-2 overall, 7 blocks, a touchdown and an extra point for Rejection Row here at the Conti Forum. Gary Williams' club moves to 9-2, 0-1 in the ACC, 73-62. And Jared Dudley is now in 8th place. Rebounds, passing, getting past Jay Murphy. We'll have post-game activities here in Boston in a moment. Al Skinner's club happy to get out of here with a win, and it was not easy here on ACC Sunday Night Hoops.